Hello and good morning. So this is our first of the Sunday series. I'll be coming at you live every Sunday morning, 10 a.m. and be happy to have you joining me any week and every week. So we'll start as we usually do here. I'm going to be just lighting an incense to help me set my space, set my mood a little bit. And if you'd like to light a candle, incense, or just take a moment to move some clutter out of the way so that your practice can be a little more inwardly focused versus outwardly focused, I'll recommend that. I also have my props here available. Oops. I think I just blew this out too soon. That happens sometimes. There we go. All right. Try that again. So props class, if you have them nearby, 2 blocks. You may want a strap. We'll do some shoulder work, some shoulder stretches. And if a strap helps you access those, you can have a yoga strap. If you don't have a yoga strap nearby, you can also use a hand towel to help connect in the back. If that's not accessible right now, you want to just stay on your mat with what you've got nearby, that's okay. You can do practice without this as well. And if you don't have yoga blocks, you can use 2 large books, dictionary, encyclopedia, stacked books, you name it, something large. And if you prefer, you can also use 2 cans of soup or beans or something like that from your pantry. And those work very well also. So we'll have these near our space, and we're going to begin in seated. I'm going to sit up on 1 block, just move my extra to the side, and I'll be here with you all in a nice, comfortable seated position. This is called Easy Seat Sukhasana, and I invite you to find your comfortable seated position, whether that's your legs crossed, or if you're working with, anything going on with your knee. You can have one leg extended, but find your comfortable seated position here. And we'll begin to breathe. You have made it onto your mat today. You have carved this time aside. Set this time to focus on yourself for self-care. And so I invite you to really be present. Be here as we move, as we explore. As always, I'll offer choices as we move through our practice. And so you can make this practice your own. If you're new to yoga, try out some new things, but maybe stay with the more gentle offerings. If you're kind of missing your regular studio practice and you want to level things up, bring more heat and power into your practice, you have that opportunity in this class as well. We'll be focusing a bit on balance, working into some peak poses that I'm really excited about for balance and hip opening. So that should be our plan for today. And as always, if you have requests for this class, you can type them into the chat. It's just here on the right side of the box. And you can type that in if you need something specific. Right. So we'll start to settle in here. Get as comfortable as you can in your seat. I like to just shift around so I can really feel the sitting bones, right? Those 2 points of contact that you have through the skeletal system down into, in my case, the block or your pillow or your mat. From there, we lift the spine tall. Take the shoulders up and then release them down. So giving yourself openness across the shoulders, a release in the jaw. Maybe you even close the eyes or just look down at the space in front of you. And just follow along here to the sound of my voice as we breathe. And draw the focus inwards. So whatever may be the kind of ambient environment in terms of sounds that you're hearing, you can let that fade into the background. The same with any smells. And the same for any kind of physical touch sensations, and that may be noticing the air on your skin, the humidity of the air as you breathe it in and out. And all of these outward senses, we draw inwards now for the practice. in our current lives, when we are reaching out and checking in on those we love, it is equally as important to check in with yourself. So I give you this space to observe physical sensations in your body as you begin today. Begin to just scan and notice muscles and joints. As you observe and notice those sensations, try not to pass judgment here, but to check in and then move on. Even with chronic feelings or conditions, right, that pain is temporary, that sensation is temporary. So tune in now, draw inwards to the state of your mind, acknowledging where you're at this very moment. If you find that you've been kind of spiraling through certain thought patterns this week, you can acknowledge that it's held your attention for this time and this practice. We'll let that go. You can set it aside, come back to it later as needed. Or maybe setting it aside for good because it's not productive and is not helping you. Now as we check in, we'll go a little deeper, come down into the heart, observe your sensations, your emotional state, acknowledging all the feelings, that full spectrum, that full range that you've experienced this week, from strength to gratitude to fear, anxiety, worry, love, compassion, anger, frustration, exuberance, simple joys. All those feelings and more are part of our daily experience here as we cope with difficult times. Bringing your focus further in and down, arrive near the belly button, down deep in your stomach. You can bring a hand to that area if it helps you to focus. Breathe through this space. This is a full belly breath. You can bring one or two hands to that space if you haven't done so already. As I inhale through the nose, I'm really expanding here. As I exhale, that area softens, naturally contracts. And so we'll take about 5 full breaths here, incorporating a slight pause or hold at the top of the breath. And a slight pause or retention here at the bottom of the breath. By controlling and slowing our breathing, we can speak to our parasympathetic nervous system. We can tell our body physically in this moment, I am safe. The heart rate as a reaction to this slows. The hormones begin to level out. And you may feel a little bit better after just 5 slow, deep breaths. You may continue breathing here as long as you need to. As with any of our poses in the asana portion of class today, linger where you need to, skip where you need to, make this your own. When you're ready to move on, we'll start to stretch the arms up With the exhale, trace your center line down. And we'll take 3 moving breaths like this. If it's comfortable for your neck, begin to look up. Follow the hands and the energy up and in. Once more. If you'd like to set an intention for your practice, you can do so at this time. That's choosing a word or a short phrase to focus on. This would be something that you'd like to cultivate here in this practice for yourself, something you want to bring in, whether that's breath and movement, relaxation and release of tension. Whatever it is that resonates with you, you can take a breath in, hold that in your mind, and then share it with the world with your exhale. We'll come to tabletop position on our mats next. So I'll slide this block out of the way. And if you're using your blocks, books, or cans as support, you just want those near the front of your space here. We'll come into tabletop, place the knees under the hips, the hands under the shoulders, and starting with cat and cow breath. It's my favorite spine warm-up. Inhale, lifting the heart forward, look forward, and you can lift the tailbone as well. Exhale, tailbone tips down, chin to chest, roll on in. So inhale, we expand, press into the floor to draw the heart forward. Exhale, press into the floor to draw the shoulder blades apart from each other. So with the inhale, we create space in the front of the body. And with the exhale, we create space in the back of the body. As you move through these poses, it might feel really good to kind of linger and shift around. So add that in. It might feel good to move in your own way. So there's no right or wrong here. We've got about 3 more breaths to move and explore in the way that's best for you in this moment. And so that may be different than other classes. That may be different than yesterday or your previous practice. And just let it be as it comes to you today. In our yoga practice, we practice non-judgment, just letting things come and the experience that you have on any given day, and let that be enough. That's a little easier said than done sometimes, so we work on that. From here, we're going to work into a forearm and wrist stretch. You can start by turning your fingers out towards the sides of the mat. If this feels pretty intense on your wrists and your forearms, you'll hold here. You can begin to rock side to side to work into that stretch. And if you are here and you're thinking, I'm not feeling too much and I'm looking for more, you can begin to rotate your fingers even farther around, back, potentially all the way towards your knees, a full 180 turn from the front of the mat. But do what's working for you. Rocking side to side, and then also in kind of an arcing down and back shape. Gets a great stretch here for the forearms. We'll take another round of breath. Or as always, longer if you need. If you do a lot of typing, for example, this might feel really amazing. You may need longer here. And then we'll begin to rock up higher onto the palms. So I'm coming up in the knuckles. Get a great stretch here for the fingers. Bring it down with control. Up and back. Exhaling down last time. All right, gently turn those hands around. Maybe you take a wrist circle or 2 on your way back. We're going to move next into toes pose, and this can be pretty intense as well. Take it easy if you need, and this is a kneeling pose. So if you need an extra layer of padding here for your knees, you can fold over your mat and get a double layer as I'm doing here, for example. So what I'll do is set my knees hips width apart and the feet directly behind the knees. So nice anatomical parallel alignment there. My toes are all tucked under in the back. If you need to do this one leg at a time or your knee can't kind of handle kneeling, you can also do this on just the one leg that is more comfortable for you. Any stretch you can get here is great. So with the toes tucked under, I'll inhale, sweep the arms out. And as I exhale, trace through that center line, begin to sit back towards the heels. You'll probably notice as you sit back, you start to get a stretch in the bottoms of the feet. This can be a lot. If you're on your feet a lot for work these days, if you wear a lot of high heels these days or have in the past, that can really kind of make this a big, bold, loud stretch. And if you're having a lot of discomfort or a lot of really big experiences in this, you've probably noticed that you're already leaning forward, kind of hovering forward. That's a way to lighten up and make this less intense. If as you're coming down, you're saying, wow, Arielle's talking about this big experience, but I'm not having that, and you need more stretch, you really let the hips come down towards the heels. And then instead of leaning forward, bring the shoulders back over your hips. You can also go farther back than that. I can't really manage it, but I've seen people do it. All right, we'll give ourselves a break. Tuck your toes, coming forward, gently let that go. And then this is my favorite part. You can bang your feet out on the floor. So you can do this loud, soft, fast or slow, whatever's feeling good. Get that release. Let's repeat 2 times. Come on up, knees underneath the hips, feet directly behind, toes under. Inhale, lift. Exhale, trace through center, begin to sink back. 3 breaths here. Finding your toes pose stretch. Be with it. Last breath. And exhale. Come forward, untuck your toes, bang that out. All right, so we're gonna back up on the mat, or at least I will, so I can turn this back to my usual placement. From here, we're gonna drop the hips back to the heels for child's pose. So the hips sink back, forehead may come to rest on the mat. You can also stack hands to support your neck or use the support of your props. In any of these positions, we want to be a little bit active in our child's pose here. So really stretch the fingers forward. If your elbows are sinking and relaxing on the earth, press into the palms to lift the elbows up away, and then draw the shoulder blades down your back and draw your hips farther back for a bit of stretch as well. Now I happen to have my mat on a wood floor, and I can actually feel the mat slightly shift back as I do so. We'll take another breath in. This time as you exhale, keep pressing firmly into the hands. Tuck your toes under and lift the hips up into your downward facing dog. Feet will be hips width apart. You can start to pedal out your legs. If your back is pretty sensitive, you want more space here between your feet. Go wider than hips width apart. As you move, you may decide some ankle circles feel good. Hopefully the feet are feeling pretty open from that toes pose stretch. And as we settle the feet now into their down dog position, bring awareness to your hands. Spread out the fingers, press through every knuckle, every finger pad. In down dog, weight wants to shift into the outer edges of the hands. It kind of compromises the wrists, the shoulders. No good. We want to press all throughout those palms to bring the small muscles of the hands into this pose as well as the wrists. So with all that support, we press the floor away and lift the hips up and back. Now, I've got my legs straight in down dog. That works for me because I've been practicing yoga a long time and have pretty open hamstrings. What may work for you is bending the knees and pulling the hips back. It's all about length in the spine here. So rather than straight legs and rounding in the shoulders, bend the knees, pull the hips back to lengthen. This from the tailbone all the way up through the upper back, the shoulders, and the crown of the head heavy. We'll take one more breath here in our first down dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana pose. And then with your exhale, knees come down. Shift the heart forward. So we're in a kneeling plank, and it looks like I need to adjust. That's the benefit here of my camera. Lift the heart, inhale. As you exhale, the elbows bend close to the body. So not a push-up with the elbows outside, but a yogi push-up. Elbows close to the body. Close to the body. We're going to lower down slowly for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, till you arrive at your mat. And if you're like me and you've landed kind of off of the mat, you can always scoot back. All right. Here we go. We're going to take our cobra pose. Tops of the feet pressed down, legs are active, hands alongside the ribs. Inhale and lift the heart. Pinch the elbows towards each other. That draws the shoulder blades in as well. Want the open heart like cow pose. Exhale, lower down. Repeat. Inhale to lift. Exhale down. One more inhale to lift. Keep pressing into your hands and the tops of your feet. Peek over your left shoulder. Get a bit of a neck stretch. And back to center. Peek over the other shoulder. Inhale, center. Exhale, release down. Find your way back to child's pose. Hips to heels. Breath in. Breath out. So child's pose is always an option in this practice. If you need to rest, if you need to reset your breath, if you just want a break, if we're moving too fast and you want to slow things down, visit child's pose. It's always a great place to be. We'll tuck the toes under and make our way next to downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana here. Inhale and exhale it out. This time, take your feet for a walk towards your hands, as many steps as you want to get there. As you arrive near the front of your mat, feet are hips width apart and the knees bent. We'll take a forward fold here, holding opposite elbows or interlace hands at the neck. Rock your body side to side. It's all about decompressing the spine here, letting tension just roll out of the hips, off the back, out of the neck. Maybe you shake your head, yes and no, help that along. Walk your hands now up to your thighs. Keep that bend in the knees. Inhale into a flat back position. So I'm rolling the shoulder blades down. The heart is a little bit open. The core is strong. So I'm drawing in rather than kind of puffing forward like cow pose, but drawing in the belly. Inhale, press into your thighs. Send the hips back. Pull the head forward. And exhale, forward fold. Hands can stay on the thighs. We'll repeat. Inhale up. Strong and long. Exhale, fold. One more time. Inhaling, lift. Exhale, forward fold. You can let the hands release. And then working your way slowly up to stand here. Mountain pose, Tadasana. So I'm stepping back so that a little more in the picture here. We'll stand tall, reach into your feet. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Take a hold of your left wrist, side bend. Let's see. We'll step back a little farther. Inhale up and side bend the other way. Inhale to center. Hands come through heart center and find your mountain pose, Tadasana. So I'll move back up to the front of the mat here. We're going to move through traditional Surya Namaskar A, sun salutations. As you inhale, lift the arms, look up. As you exhale, forward fold, down over the legs. Inhale to flat back, palms on shins or the thighs again. Exhale, bring your hands down to the mat, step back to your high plank. Inhale here, and then exhale, elbows bend, come all the way down or stop at Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale for a back bend, it could be cobra, or maybe you're ready for upward facing dog. Elbows straighten, feet press into the mat so the knees lift off. Exhale, knees down, toes under. Then hips up and back, downward facing dog. Breathing in and out. So that transition from up to down dog, we just took through tabletop. That's one way to do it. You can also drop back to child's pose for a breath in between to slow your vinyasa practice down. Or you can kind of amp it up a bit by going straight through plank. So as I said, please make this practice your own. With your next exhale, bend the knees, look forward, walk or float your feet in a jump to the front of the mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Pressing through the feet, inhale, come all the way up. We will repeat. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale for flat back. Prepare. Exhaling, hands down, stepping back high to low plank, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, any back bend, cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana, 3 breaths here. Hips lift, Spine is long. Toes and fingers are spread apart. Heels melt down and back. Heart towards the toes. Exhale, bend the knees, look forward, walk or hop forward. Inhale, flat back. And exhale, fold. Pressing into the feet. Inhale, we rise. And exhale. Release, mountain pose. Okay. Next, we're going to take a shoulder stretch. So reach around behind you. Give yourself a fist bump. Take the elbows out wide. Stand tall. Breathe in. Breathing out, let the left ear drop towards the left shoulder. Big neck stretch. Inhale, center. Opposite side. Breathe in. And out. Back to center. Go ahead and release your hands. If you're able to, hook the thumbs behind you or interlace the fingers. If that hooked thumb position doesn't work, that's an option to just grab the strap that you may have or the towel that you have nearby and just hold it a few inches apart to get that opening of the heart here. So we're going to lift the heart forward, breathe in, breathing out, tuck your chin to your chest. Keep sending the heart forward. Inhale, exhale, to release, and you can just set any support you use to the side. So from the front of your space here, bring your feet together. Chair pose, Utkatasana, sit low, down and back in the hips. And then the heart lifts. Breathe in. Breathe out for 5. Squeeze the inner thighs, engage the core. For 4, sit low. Inhale. Exhale for 3, peek down, see your toes. If you can't see your toes, shift your knees and your hips back. For 3. For 2, be strong. Exhale, 1, forward fold. Separate your feet hips width apart. Move any amount side to side. Here. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, palms down, stepping back, lowering down, Chaturanga Dandasana. If you jump right to Chaturanga, land in bent elbows to protect the joints. Inhale, heart forward. Exhale, core up and back, downward facing dog. From here, inhale the right leg high, 3-legged dog. Try to keep the hips as square as you can, toes dialed down. Knee to nose, squeeze it in, and place your right foot between your hands. Help it up there if it needs some help. Keep your feet in a lunge. That's our variation today for Surya B. Inhale, heart shines forward. Lift a little bit in the low belly to engage into that hip stretch. Breathing in. Exhale, hands down. Step back. Your choice if you're looking to level things up. Keep a foot lifted. 3-point plank down to 3-point chaturanga. Inhale, both feet down for the back bend. Exhale. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg high, 3-legged dog, hips square. Knee to nose, and foot between hands. Keep that back heel lifted. Come up into your high lunge. Crescent lunge. Knee tracks forward. Belly draws in. All about that hip stretch. Inhale, be strong here. Exhale, hands come down. Your choice, stepping back and taking it through any form of vinyasa or choosing to skip. Always an option to skip these flows and meet us in down dog. Breathe in. Breathe out. Inhale. Exhale. Once more, inhale. Lift high, tip toes. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward, walk, or maybe if you'll brave, hop forward. Inhale, flat back. Forward fold with the exhale. Bring your feet together. If they didn't land that way, sit low. Chair pose, just one breath. Inhale. Exhale to rise. Release. Whew. That gets things moving. Find the hooked thumb with the opposite thumb in front this time. So your kind of other hook. Inhale, lift the heart, send it forward. Hands track down, maybe even lift back. Exhale, release. Sit low, chair pose, Utkatasana. I'm going to face you for this one. Hands come to heart center. Try to keep your hips as square as you can. Your knees try to be as stable and still as they can. We're going to split the arms, take your right hand forward, your left hand back. And so one thing that happens here is your hips go really askew, your knees might open or go askew. Check and see as you enter this twist. Inhale, center, and exhale, take the opposite side. Check in with your hips and your knees. Breathe in, breathe out, center, and forward fold. Separate the feet out. We'll inhale, flat back, and exhale, palms to the mat, stepping or jumping. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, any back bend. Exhale, downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. On your inhale, right leg lifts, three-legged dog. As you exhale, knee to nose, foot between hands. Help it along if you need to. And this is one of the times we're going to use our blocks today. So bring your blocks or your other props here to frame your front foot. As you're getting set up, also notice that your feet are hips width apart, kind of in their own like left-right lanes here on the mat. That's going to make things a bit easier as we move on. You can be on the medium setting if you have blocks, or on the taller setting, a bit more supportive here. As you inhale, think cow pose. Lift the heart, drop the hips down. I'm all the way up high on the blocks here. And I've got that open across the heart. As you exhale, press into those supports. Begin to straighten your back, the front leg here, and bow forward. You might not get all the way straight. Doesn't matter. We're flowing through these two poses. So inhale for the lunge. Exhale for the pyramid pose. Once more, inhale, lunge. Exhale, pyramid. Inhale, rebend that front knee. Firm up the space between your feet. So imagine pulling those in towards each other and you'll feel the inner thighs get active and strong. Hips as square as they can. We rise up. High lunge, crescent lunge. If this brings discomfort here into the low back, I'm going to bend that back knee, drop the tailbone. You get more space in that area. Front knee bends as deeply as you can, 90 degrees maximum. Inhale. Exhale, keep squeezing those inner thighs. Add the twist, left hand forward, right hand back, squeeze it in. Inhale. Exhale, option to drop the right hand, the back hand down, maybe find your back, maybe find your leg, lift the front hand up, right? And if you're working so hard to balance that you can't go anywhere, you stay with it. Remember, this is an all levels class. Exhale, everybody, take your left hand down to the block and lift your right hand towards the ceiling. Nice lunge twist here. Breathe in, breathe out, bring the right hand down. We're gonna come into a full pyramid pose. So the back foot steps forward about a whole foot. I'm going to rotate that foot so it's fully in contact with the mat. Hips are square towards the front of the room. Front knee can be bent if you need that, or you can begin straightening and hinge over the leg. You may use a different setting here on your blocks. You may be able to reach the floor without blocks. Just be where you are in this pyramid pose. Parsvottanasana. Heart melts, head is heavy. Another breath. Inhale, lifting towards flat back. Slide the back foot back, lunge, and then just move those blocks just off the mat. Inhale, step back, high plank, breathe in. Option to stay with your high plank, to drop the knees for a tabletop, or if you're looking for a bit more, you might pivot your heels to the right, press into the right hand for a side plank, Vashisthasana. And there are many versions of side plank, more than I can count right now. This would be the traditional version if you're like, I need support, right? Bring that bottom knee down. It's a great option. Still get that openness. If you're working here in this side plank and you think, I want some more, you might float the back leg. You might bring it towards tree pose. These are some versions. Breathe in where you are. Exhale. Find that high plank. Visit your child's pose or take a flow. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Sometime the next breath or two. Remember, this is your practice. It's going to change every day. Body and mind are different day by day. Give yourself what you need here today. We meet in down dog, and then lift the left leg, three-legged dog. As you exhale, knee towards your nose, curl and round it in, and then place your foot up between your hands. Bring the blocks again on either side of that front foot, and make sure your feet are hips width apart again. So check that left-right kind of placement along the mat. Your choice for block settings. Right? Of course, if you're working with other materials, your choices may be just what you've got. That's good. Support here is good. We want to lift the heart, melt the hips down. Exhale, pressing into the blocks, rounding over. Begin to straighten the front leg. Doesn't have to get there on the first go. Or the 100th go. Inhale like cow, heart open. Exhale like cat, rounding in and back. Inhale once more, heart opens, hips sink. Exhale, drawing in and back into the stretch. Rebend your front knee. Strong legs, draw them towards each other as scissoring in of those inner thighs really helps to lift up and find your high lunge position. Remember that back knee can be bent. Heart forward, hips square, and shoulders soft. That's a tough one. Inhale. Stay for your exhale. Breath in. Add the twist. Squeeze your inner thighs. That's going to help with balance. In this case, right hand forward, left hand back. Rotate and squeeze. Find something still to look at. That will also help you balance. Breathe in. And either stay here or maybe you're dropping the back hand towards your back, towards your leg, lifting that front arm. See where you end up. Breathe in. Breathing out, take that right hand down, find the block, and left arm up, a full lunge twist. Breathing in, out, one more. Exhale, return both hands down, and we'll come to our pyramid pose. So you can hop that back foot forward about a foot, foot and a half up the mat, square the hips, and exhale, fold, pyramid pose, Parsvottanasana. If you find that your hip is really sticking out to the side, usually happens in the front hip, the left one. You want to draw it in towards the midline of your mat and back as you rotate the right hip forward. That'll be the back one. Another 2 breaths to soften, to release. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back, exhale, find that lunge, move the blocks aside. And so if you're just doing this on your own, I like to move them to either side this way, but I will block my camera angle, so I'm stepping it back. All right, back to your high plank, inhale, and then find your side plank, Vashisthasana. So rotate to your second side, and remember you've got all those choices. Knee down. Top leg lifting to an X or to a tree. Find your version, take up space, lift the hips, inhale. Exhale, stay for 3, for 2, for 1. Exhale, return, high plank, your choice. Child's pose, tabletop, or through your vinyasa. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Breathing in and out. One more. Inhale, lift high, tip toes. Exhale, bend the knees, look forward. And on empty, float or hop forward or walk forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up. All the way. Exhale to heart center for mountain pose here. Tadasana. All right. We'll inhale next. Arms up, gaze up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Shift weight into the the right foot here and start to lift the left knee. It will help you to focus your gaze. I know my head is not in the shot here, but to focus your gaze somewhere straight out in front of you that won't move. Breathe in. If you're able to, take a hold of the knee, draw it up towards your heart without rounding forward here, but lifting. You get a little hip stretch there. Breathe in. Breathing out. Keep the right hand where it is. Press the knee into the hand. Maybe add a twist. Inhale. Exhale back to center. Hands at the heart. Sweep that floating leg back. Reach it behind you. Flex the foot. Hips are square. This is a warrior 3. You can always keep a bend in this standing leg to take pressure out of the hamstrings here. Inhale. Play with the balance. See where it takes you. Little opening of the heart like cow pose. Exhale, land, high lunge. Breathing in. Squeeze the inner thighs, twist. Right hand back, left hand forward, breathe in. Find that back bend if you're going for it. Exhale. Left hand down, block or mat, right arm up, breathe in. Breathing out, right hand comes down inside the arch of the foot. Pivot on the back foot so the toes lift and the hips drop. So Skandasana, a low, wide lunge. Breathing here, the elbow is inside the knee and presses the knee open. So I'm getting a great stretch on that right inner thigh. And the left side for that matter. Take your hands for a walk along the mat and sink down into the back knee. So now the front toes lift. Breathing in. Some people like to do this with hands at heart center or opening up. Your choice, your practice. Make your way towards the front of the mat again and pivot into that lunge. Using your blocks here, we're going to place them out in front of the mat onto the floor. Tall setting. Breathe in, lift the heart, press into, really press into that front leg. Going to lift everything up. High into your warrior 3, supported. Virabhadrasana 3, hips are square. Remember, you can bend that front knee as needed. Leg active behind you. Breathe in. Maybe you get a little lighter on the blocks. Maybe the hands come to heart center. Maybe you can stand. Take the knee with you right where we started. Release. Shake that out. Whew. All right, do a little dance. Get ready. Second side. Here we go. Spread out the toes. All right, it's just yoga. It's just balance. You're allowed to fall. You're allowed to smile. You're allowed to laugh. Inhale, lift. Exhale, heart center. Stepping into that left foot now, right knee up. Fix your gaze out in front of you. Hands to the knee. If you're able to, draw that knee up without compromising by rounding forward. Stand tall. Left hand to shin or knee connecting, and then adding a twist. Right hand maybe reaches back. Breathe in. Return to center. Hands to the heart. Slowly, slowly. Right foot back, heart forward. Working with square hips, as even as you can. Remember, standing leg can be bent. Draw the core in to help you. Right? And you don't have to get parallel to the earth here. You can definitely be on some diagonal. That's a better fit for you. We'll reach those floating toes all the way to the back of the mat. Find your lunge here. Inhale. Squeeze the inner thighs. Exhale for your twist. Right and forward, left back. Inhale, maybe you're reversing the twist here. Lifting into the back bend. And exhale, pivot the hand down. So right hand down, again, this could be the mat or the block. Lifting into your twist. Breathe in. Breathe out. Take your hands down inside that back, inside the arch of the front foot. Skandasana. Low lunge. Your options. Your versions. Right, and if this is too intense on your knees as you work, I'll just turn around so that you can see. Another alternative here is a nice wide stance. Knees and toes out diagonal to the same direction, then just kind of using the hands to guide the hand. We'll come back to meet in a lunge. So the left foot should still be forward here near the front of your mat. Blocks are out ahead of you. Reach for those. Press firmly into that front foot, hips square, draw the belly in and up. Press and fly. Warrior 3, Virabhadrasana 3, standing leg strong, floating leg, lifting and pressing back. That pressing back, engaging the core helps to lift the shoulders, maybe get lighter on the blocks, maybe heart center. Inhale, stand, take the knee with you. And release it all down. All right, shake that out, dance it out. A little side to side twist here can feel good. We're almost there. You guys are doing fantastic. We breathe, we move, and then we rest. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, sink back, chair pose. Breathe in. Breathing out, hands find the blocks. Inhale, come into a flat back and shift weight forward towards your hands. So if this is too intense, knees stay bent. And one common mistake that when I teach this in studio that happens here is the blocks are really close to your toes. And so you end up kind of rounding in on yourself or just not having space. What we want to be able to do here is create space. So moving the blocks torso length from the toes gives me a nice spacious area for the back. Roll the shoulder blades onto the back. Press into those blocks. Inhale, right foot stays, left leg floats. From here, right hand stays, left hand to your hip. Breathe in. Little bend in the bottom standing leg will be really helpful as we expand up and open now for Ardha Chandrasana. This is about one of the hardest ways to get into Ardha Chandrasana, so let the wobbles be part of it. This is half moon pose. Breathe in. Breathe out. So that standing leg is lifted, the hips are open now, and the heart shines towards the side of your space. Breathe in, and exhale, land back, a warrior 2. Maybe you take a moment to just land, set up, right toes, right knee towards the front of your space, left toes in at the diagonal, arms reach out from the shoulders. Breathing in, breathing out. Inhale, right arm up and back. Exhale, forearm to thigh, side angle, Parsvakonasana. Inhale, if you'd like to go deeper, right hand high. Spin the back of the hand down to reach around for a half bind. Breathe in, look forward. See that right block. Reach for it. Press into this standing stable leg, Ardha Chandrasana once more. And maybe you're working the half bind with it today. Maybe you decide, no thanks, hand on the hip is a bit more stable, that's where I want to be. Or revisit traditional variation, arm reaching up to the sky. Breathe in as you are. Breathe out, square the hips, dial the toes down, left hand down to your blocks. Breathe in. Exhale, left foot down. Forward fold. Take any movement here that feels good. Feet will be hips width apart, that definitely helps. Breathing in for flat back, and exhale, forward fold. We'll just rise on an inhale, arms sweep up, and exhale, mountain pose. Alrighty, so now we know where we're going. Let's give it a shot on the second side here. Inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, sit low, chair pose. Breathe in, breathe out, tip forward. So the blocks will be shoulders width apart again and a nice distance still from your toes. Inhale. Exhale, right hand to your hip. Pressing into the left foot, right foot floats. Whoops, sorry. Both hands on the blocks first. Then float the leg up. That makes a big difference. Sequence is hard enough as it is. Breathe in, hips square. Now, right hand to your hip, press into that left side, start to peel open, right? And I'm keeping my eyes really steady and focused on the floor. Then, once I've got my balance and I'm feeling better, I'm gonna rotate my gaze up the wall behind me. Inhale, stay, expand into your Ardha Chandrasana, right? Let all the wobbles, all the micro adjustments of the balance be part of this experience, no judgment. Inhale. Exhale, we're going to land warrior 2. So once you come back, take a moment, get settled. Left knee forward, left toes forward. I can see my big toe there. Got the back foot in at the angle. Virabhadrasana 2, warrior 2. Breathing in and out. Reverse warrior, inhale. Exhale, coming forward, forearm to thigh, right arm over your ear, side angle, Parsva Konasana. Breathing in, find a long diagonal from the back foot, all the way up through the hand. Then if you want to add that half bind, the hand reaches up, right arm, around to the lower back. Roll the shoulder open, breathe in, and then look down. Find that block or support you have on the left side of the mat. Press firmly into this foot. I'm going to reach forward, fly forward. Whee! Ardha Chandrasana, maybe go for a ride. Have a bit of fun. Inhale. Working your version, right? Maybe that's still half bind. Maybe it's hand to hip or arm up. Your version. Inhale. Exhale. Start to dial your hips down. Both hands come to those supports and land both feet on the mat. Awesome. So we're going to give exhale, start to sit down, down, down. So I'm letting my hips sit down and back, down and back, down and back. Somewhere between a deep chair pose and a yogi squat. And then exhale, if your knees allow, sit. Boat pose, a little core lift. Inhale. Right? If you find your way here through other transitions, that's perfect. Inhale. Exhale, baby boat. Open, 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 and then inhale it up. Exhale, baby boat. Inhale it up. And you thought we were getting to hip stretches. We are, I promise. Last time, baby boat. Inhale up. Exhale. Butterfly pose. Finally, Baddha Konasana here. So we're going to bring the heels pretty close to the hips. Sit tall. Exhale. Guide the heart forward. I'm using just the elbows, a little bit of pressure on the inner thighs to help guide the knees open. Breathing in and out. Come back to breath here. Inhale, rise. So next we'll extend, say the left leg out, cross your right foot over and sit tall. Draw the knee to your chest. Two ways to do this twist, which is great for our outer hips. That just worked really hard. One is as I'm doing now by wrapping my arm around the shin, right hand behind you, sit tall and rotate. This is Ardha Matsyendrasana. Another option with this pose is to hook your elbow around the knee and take the twist that way. If you're rounding and collapsing in the lower back, try to sit tall. Inhale and exhale. We'll come back to center. And from here, start to open the knee. I'm going to cross my ankle just above the knee here on the thigh for a figure four stretch. So as I bend the extended leg, you get the stretch here in the outer thigh. If you prefer to come down onto your back at this point for a supine pigeon, you can take that option. I like to rock a little side to side in my figure four, but you may be perfect as you are. If this stretch is super intense for you, one way to make it less intense is moving your foot farther away from your hips. One way to make it more intense, if you're here and you're not getting much experience, is bringing your foot really close to your hips. So you'll find your sweet spot somewhere in the middle. Inhale and exhale, let it all go. Shake out the legs. Maybe give a bit of shiatsu here. And we'll take those on the other side. Let me scoot back. So I've got one leg extended, active. Cross the left over, sit tall, your choice. Wrapping the shin or hooking the elbow. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to twist. And placing that left hand behind me as a kickstand. Sit tall, breathing in. Breathing out to rotate. One more breath here. We'll make our way back to center. Cross ankle to thigh, let the knee open, and start to find your figure four stretch on this side. You may be having very different experiences here. in your figure four or your supine pigeon if you come onto your back, between your left and your right side, your first side and your second side. A lot of that has to do with kind of body mechanics, body use over time. For example, if you do a lot of driving and have done so for many years, your right side does tend to be a bit tighter than the left side. There are also kind of skeletal and musculoskeletal reasons for individuals to have asymmetries left and right. So this is all very normal. Yoga gives us the opportunity to notice these experiences, to be with your body where you are without judgment and without forcing yourself into any particular shape or experience. So we'll come out of that stretch, give yourself some love again, whether that's shiatsu or just sending love down the legs. We'll come to our backs. I'm going to move my blocks just to the side of the mat. I'm going to be using those in Shavasana, so I want those within reach. But come on down to your back next. If you're like me, you move the ponytail aside. Keeping the feet pretty close to the hips here. Inch them as close as you can even get them. Press into the feet. They'll be also hips width apart, by the way. Scoop your tailbone up and under for a bridge pose. Set to Bandhasana. Squeeze your inner thighs, your glutes. Your core is strong. Breathe in. Puff up the heart. We'll stay for 3 more breaths. If you'd like to go deeper, you can also interlace the hands underneath you. Puff up your heart. If it's getting hard to breathe, nudge your chin up away from your chest. 1 more breath. Inhale to lift. Exhale. Slowly come down. Upper, middle, and lower back release. You can windshield wiper the knees side to side. And when you're ready, take the knees into your heart. You can rock here in this egg shape or move towards happy baby, knees to the armpits, feet up to the ceiling. Take a few rocks to massage your back against the mat. One of these times you rock over to the left, stay, roll all the way onto the left side here. My hips are stacked, my knees are stacked, and they're pretty high up towards the belly button. That protects the back as I come into the spinal twist here. So if you've got room, you can stretch the arms out into a T shape. If you don't have room, cactus shape tends to be pretty good. Well, as you arrive, let your body make any shape it will make here as you release. These final stretches allow the heart rate to slow down again after the intensity of the kind of peak of our practice. We'll come back through center. Rolling over to your right side, stacking the hips, stack the knees, and find your twist. Final stretches also detoxify the systems, especially our internal organs, digestive system, most especially. We promote blood flow throughout the body, as well as tension relief for the muscles along the back and the neck, which work so hard in our everyday lives. Make our way back to center. And prepare for Shavasana, final resting pose. For your Shavasana, I invite you to be as comfortable as possible. One way to get really comfortable is to slide your supports underneath the knees. That little bend and lift in the knees helps to open up space for the low back. So I just did what I call a pelvic tuck. Draw the tailbone forward and down, and that creates space here for the low back. I'm going to walk the shoulder blades a little down from the ears, just allowing the body now to rest and to be held by your mat and your props. And if your Shavasana takes a different shape, that's perfect. You should be as physically comfortable as possible here. Back of the neck long, jaw relaxed. At this time, you can release control of your breath. Release control of this experience. We'll rest and breathe together. Nowhere else to go but here. As you inhale, you may silently say to yourself, be. As you exhale, you may silently say to yourself, here. Be. Here. Begin to deepen your breath. Explore movements in your fingers and toes. And rock your head gently from side to side. You're ready, reach the arms overhead, explore a full body stretch. And then rolling to one side, slowly come up to a comfortable seated position. We'll arrive here in Sukhasana, easy seat. Eyes may still be closed. As we complete our practice for today, I invite you to, again, check in with the physical sensations in your body. No judgment. Check in with the state of your mind and emotions. If you chose an intention for your practice, you may bring it back. We'll inhale. Bring the hands to heart center. Feel the thumbs gently press in, the heart lift to meet it. We'll take a deep breath in together. Sigh it out. And once more again, cleansing breath in. Let it go. With gratitude for this practice and gratitude for you sharing this practice with me, I thank you. I wish you a wonderful week. Please stay tuned for more classes. We'll end by saying namaste. All the goodness in me salutes and honors all the goodness in you. Namaste. So again, thank you for joining me for this practice. Let me know if you have questions, comments, concerns. Leave a message, put it in the chats. It's all good. I'm here for you. I want to make these classes online the most helpful and useful they can be for you. So let me know what you need. And if you're enjoying the classes, please give me a like, hit that subscribe button. That's really helpful. And share with anyone you think may enjoy. Take care, everybody. Have a wonderful day.